Hey, bud, what'd you think, man? Let me know some things about what can we expect from you?
Fireworks.
Fireworks. You ready, bud?
That's the fight that everybody want to see. Yeah. I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so...
I understand.
Terence Crawford answered Jaron Ennis' challenge to face him at super middleweight for all the belts and agreed to the proposal. The reaction caught many off guard because Crawford had never previously shown interest in discussing a matchup with Ennis.
And like I said before, you know, that's my obligation in the contract, and I gotta honor that if, you know, that's the next move for me and my...
During an interview while getting ready for his upcoming bout, he stated that he is prepared to move up to the super middleweight division if that is what it takes to secure a title opportunity against Crawford, and mentioned that he would target the fight in 2026. Such a move would mirror Terence Crawford's own path after leaving the welterweight division, competing once at 154 and then jumping straight to super middleweight.
Terence Crawford against Jaron Ennis, for me, is the best fight in American boxing. But it needs to be a payday for Crawford that would get him interested, because Crawford knows how good Boots is. And I'm not saying that Crawford thinks he's going to lose to Boots, but he knows that is a real fight. But for me, Boots is the new Crawford.
Interestingly, just hours later, Terence Crawford held a celebration parade in his hometown of Omaha. And when he was later asked about Jaron Ennis' statements, he made it clear he was open to the idea. He even delivered a direct message telling Ennis that if he truly wants the fight, he should handle the necessary steps and send the contract for 168 because he is willing to compete at that weight this stance was. Also backed by Ennis' promoter Eddie Hearn, who described the potential matchup as the biggest fight in boxing.
You know, without him, you know, really wanting to fight and putting forth the effort into doing what he can do along with me to get this fight done, we wouldn't be fighting. So it's only right that I give him that same, you know,
I want and I need. So after I do my thing, you know, Saturday night and be victorious, you know, I feel like it's only big name fights from here on out. You know, only main event headlines and pay-per-view headlines, pay-per-view fighting. So that's my goal.
Your skill.
Matchroom Boxing chairman Eddie Hearn revealed that discussions are underway for Terence Crawford to face former unified welterweight champion Jaron Ennis, who is set to make his 154-pound debut on October 11th against Imantas Stanionis. Hearn told reporters on Wednesday that in his view, Crawford versus Ennis is the biggest fight in American boxing right now. However, he stressed that the deal must offer Crawford a significant financial incentive because Crawford understands just how talented Boots is. He clarified that it is not about Crawford fearing defeat, but recognizing that Ennis presents a serious challenge. Hearn added that he sees Boots as the next version of Crawford and said the key now is securing the right fights to prove how special he truly is.
That makes a whole lot of sense, and the fight that stylistically will be, oh my goodness, is a fight between Terence Crawford and Jaron Boots Ennis.
I think that's going backwards for Terence.
To that point, Jaron doesn't have the kind of accolades. He doesn't sell to the mass and all these. So this fight was perfect timing for both these guys.
At Crawford's post-fight press conference, when the possibility of facing Ennis was mentioned, the 5-division champion made it clear that he had no plans to return to the junior middleweight division, meaning that if the bout were to happen, Ennis would need to meet him at a different weight. Eddie Hearn explained that the challenge in making the fight is financial because Crawford is only interested in matchups that bring major revenue, and only a few opponents can deliver that level of payout. Hearn added that Crawford operates on another level, describing him as a different kind of fighter with exceptional ring intelligence, and saying that anyone stepping in with him must have deep experience and strong fundamentals, which is why he finds the Boots fight so compelling.
And a roller coaster, but, you know, we made it to the top. No matter how we made it, you know, and, you know, it's definitely a test to say that anything is possible if you know, work hard at it and you believe in yourself, and you had the faith.
Ennis had previously been the IBF mandatory challenger at 147 pounds for Crawford before Crawford moved up to 154 last year, where he defeated Israel Madrimov to capture the WBA title. Following that result, Ennis was upgraded from interim champion to full champion by the organization and later strengthened his status by stopping Imantas Stanionis in April, which earned him recognition as both ring and WBA champion. While preparing for his upcoming bout with Lima, Ennis also took part in high-level sparring sessions with Canelo Alvarez, as Alvarez trained for a potential showdown with Crawford.
Yeah. But don't lie or kept to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said we never heard nothing else back about it. So right. I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, but don't be capping on the net.
Despite the intense preparation, it was not enough to help Alvarez raise his level, as the Mexican star admitted after the loss that his body let him down. It turned into a standout showing from Terence Crawford. Hearn said he felt disappointed for Canelo, but was glad Crawford finally had the stage to prove his greatness. Because his past record did not fully reflect his ability, he acknowledged that Crawford has strong victories, yet believes he could have faced and defeated more elite names from his generation. And to deliver such a performance at 38 years old makes it even more remarkable.
Crawford Canelo fight. Were you surprised by the outcome?
It's boxing, you know. They have
no doubt. My other question for you is, with this win, everybody said Crawford elevated his status. He's the GOAT. Do you think this win puts him on Mount Rushmore or makes him a GOAT in boxing?
Everybody got their own opinion.
People are often too quick to talk about retirement. And while this could be a perfect ending, there is also a belief that Crawford could drop to 160 and capture another world title, which would make him a 6th division champion. Canelo Alvarez was determined to secure the victory, but Terence Crawford had other plans. More than 70,000 fans packed Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, and over 41 million viewers watched on Netflix as Crawford earned a competitive yet decisive win over Alvarez.
Park, South Philly.
Yeah.
All right, so they'll kill me if I don't ask you, right?
What?
Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford wins unanimous decision victory.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on the fight?
I was trying to stay up. It was getting too late, y'all. It was like, I think by the time they came on, it was like 1 o'clock or something like that.
It was like 1 and
I trained.
One of the many people watching was Jaron Ennis. The 28-year-old from Philadelphia has repeatedly challenged Crawford and has often been mentioned in the same breath as the future Hall of Famer. In the weeks leading up to Alvarez closing his training camp, he invited the switch-hitting Ennis in for sparring. Because of that decision, Ennis faced criticism for siding with Canelo over Crawford ahead of the fight. Despite opinions from several voices in the boxing world, he responded with the following statement.
We got a couple more days and y'all gonna see Canelo fighting Crawford, so I ain't got no comment on who gonna win the fight. If Crawford do what he's supposed to do, he got an option. If he don't beat Canelo. Simple as that.
When asked about the experience, Ennis explained that it was only his second camp away from Philadelphia and said he truly enjoyed it. He described being in the ring with Canelo, who has 67 professional fights, as a valuable opportunity and said it was a great feeling to share that space with him. Ennis added that stepping away from home sparring with Canelo, spending time fishing, and simply enjoying the moment with his brother made it special. He mentioned that since he is moving up in weight, he wanted to try something new, and he appreciated every part of the experience. When questioned about whether he liked the camp, he answered that anyone would value the chance to work alongside a Hall of Famer, a legend, and one of the faces of boxing. He said the sparring sessions were strong, and that he genuinely enjoyed the time spent in the ring with Canelo.
A guy of that caliber?
Yeah, why not? Why not you be able to share the ring with, with Canelo, and like I said, being there with a Hall of Famer, legend, and the face of, kind of like the face of boxing, why not?
Talking about how his sparring sessions with Canelo went viral and how fans reacted, he said, "I knew it was going to blow up. Once we shared the picture, I thought this is going everywhere. You could say it makes the fight more interesting and might get more people to tune in. I really don't care about the backlash. Honestly, I went out there for myself, especially for the first 2 weeks in camp with Elevation. This was for me, not for anyone else." He went on to add,
I think Crawford's going to get the job done. I am officially picking Crawford to win this fight. It is still 50-50, but obviously...
He says that till he goes to Canelo.
I'm obviously going to say that this is a 60-40 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's going to win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
This is going to help Canelo. He's sparring against a great fighter, world champion in Ennis, and like I said before, iron sharpens iron. And maybe it will. But on the other side, it was interesting to hear your side of how, whether it's the overtraining or I think more the mental side. What if Boots is getting the best of him? How does that affect Canelo going into this fight? Why would you want to even put that doubt in your fighter's head going into...
Legendary boxing analyst Teddy Atlas, however, felt that bringing Jaron Boots Ennis into the mix might actually work against Canelo. Atlas suggested that facing a fighter of Ennis's caliber could drain Alvarez before his September 13th fight.
He's not me.
Yeah.
You know, as much as a lot of people, you know, say we have similarities and, you know, we switch a lot and we fight a lot. He's not me, you know, and I'm not him. So.
Tim had said comparison that like he's like a Chrysler.
Training was in full swing for both camps, but the focus on Alvarez's camp comes from his sparring with Jaron Boots Ennis. Canelo's team brought him in to give Alvarez experience against a top-level fighter and ensure he's fully prepared for Crawford. Still, not everyone agreed with this approach.
And now, I think Boots brought the best out of Canelo. I don't know how many rounds they may have sparred, if it's true, but if it is true, I'm assuming that Boots may have brought the best out of Canelo Alvarez in that sparring. Showed him different looks, the switch hitting. I'm pretty sure they probably wanted Boots to, you know, emulate Crawford or just to be who he is.
My opinion is I like who I like. You know, I like Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Whitaker. I'm liking Sugar Ray Leonard. I've been watching a little bit of Sugar Ray Leonard. James Tony. They my top like guys that I've been watching.
I don't want him going all out in the gym, Atlas said. I wouldn't want him getting into that kind of war with someone who has 65 fights. I'd pick specific moments to push Canelo, maybe 1 or 2 days to amp him up, but only with someone that's skilled. Atlas expressed concern about Alvarez's age and wear, noting that while Crawford is older, Canelo has taken more damage over his career. Sparring with Ennis is adding extra rounds to his body, and it will be worth watching whether Alvarez shows any fatigue on fight night.
That I would want too many highly put it this way, I'll get right to the point. I wouldn't want wars with my guy who's been in 65 fights or 60 whatever and is at that, 34.
Never. Always. This is crazy, Chester.
I just didn't want to see
Chester.
I didn't want to see
Chester. You got a Team Crawford shirt on, hoodie on, but you going against me? You going against me? What did he say, Red?
I said, don't get scared.
No. What did he say?
He said, you just want to see him lose.
Thank you.
Even with extra support in his corner, Alvarez struggled to find answers as Crawford controlled all 12 rounds, fighting from a southpaw stance. While facing Crawford remains his ultimate goal, Ennis couldn't help but acknowledge Crawford's impressive performance. He told YSM Sports Media, "It was a solid win. He achieved something historic. Good win for him." Though he enjoyed watching as a fan for a moment, Ennis is now fully focused on his own career. The former unified welterweight champion recently vacated his WBA and WBC titles and is now committed to reclaiming his championship at 154 pounds. His debut in the new weight class is set for October 11th at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia against Wis M. Lima, with an opportunity to make a statement and potentially capture a secondary title. He's eagerly anticipating fight night. "I'm feeling great," he said. "It's almost time. I'm ready to put on a show. Expect a dominant performance and a spectacular knockout."
And on Thursday and Friday, when I saw Canelo in the vest, I was like, nah. I was like, no, he's gonna pull it off here. And You know, it was an amazing performance by Terence Crawford. Yeah, I'm gutted for Canelo, but I'm actually pleased that Crawford is getting the opportunity to show how great he is, because his resume hasn't really allowed that. Don't get me wrong, he's got some...
On the eve of his 38th birthday, Terence, Bud Crawford was celebrated in extraordinary fashion. A hometown parade drew roughly 20,000 fans, turning Omaha streets into a vibrant sea of blue and gold, with Crawford at the center of an unforgettable spectacle. Riding atop a throne mounted on a semi, he waved to the cheering crowd. Amid the excitement and camera flashes, he later posted a short but powerful tweet, sending a clear message that his roots, his city, and his achievements represent something far bigger than a single fight. Crawford's recent victory over Canelo Alvarez in Las Vegas had already made headlines, but this homecoming elevated the celebration to an entirely new level. Nebraskans filled the streets, with families turning out by the thousands, giving the celebrations the feel of a returning hero's coronation. Few boxers in history achieve undisputed champion status across multiple divisions, and Crawford's accomplishments set him apart. Even amid the jubilation, there was a sense of finality. At 38, many wonder if the Canelo fight might have been his last major showdown. In interviews, Crawford has suggested that the bout was driven more by legacy than money. Reflecting on times when critics questioned his career, he said, "It's crazy because when I was with Top Rank, people were saying, he's broke, he's this and that. I was earning good money, but I thought, I don't have to box. I could retire. You all box because you want to. I box because I love it."
Moment following a once-in-a-lifetime fight.
42-0, waving to the crowd, pumping his fists like he does so well.
And a kid on his lap, I love it. Guys, I'm having a hard time hearing you, but it's hard to hear anything because it is loud. The city of Omaha is out. Bud Crawford making his way to the Heartland of America Park.
My opinion is I like who I like. You know, I like Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Whitaker. I'm liking Sugar Ray Leonard. I've been watching a little bit of Sugar Ray Leonard. James Tony. They my top like guys that I've been watching.
Fair enough. Last question on the topic. Is that a fight, because you know people want to know, is that a fight that you still are interested in? Or you moved on? You moved on from wanting to fight Crawford. Is it still a fight that you have interest in?
My main focus right now is October 11th. That's all I'm worried about. October 11th. I ain't worried about no outsiders. You know, I like that. That's how.
Even 100 years from now, people will remember that kid from Omaha, Nebraska, Bud Crawford. He moved up 3 divisions, and defeated Canelo Alvarez. And with full conviction, my name will be spoken of long after I'm gone. That's what legacy is all about. Crawford's words carry deep significance, and only time will show if they stand the test of decades. Omaha, however, already seemed convinced. This was more than a victory parade. It was a celebration of identity, legacy, and expectation. His hometown became both a stage and a collaborator in telling his story. Meanwhile, it's well known that Ennis has struggled to make the 147-pound limit, prompting his move up to junior middleweight. I think the big question is whether Boots stays at 147, if I'm being honest, Hearn told Boxing Scene.
I figured it being so close to the fight too as well. You know, you're kind of like tunnel vision when it comes to your opponent. And the only reason why I ask is because, you know, Turkey had mentioned that if Teo gets past Barboza, we could see a fight with you and Teofimo. I know Top Rank tried to make that fight as well. So I was just curious now, like, what do you think of Teofimo as a fighter?
He's a good fighter. You know, good fighter. That's about it.
The Stanione's performance was solid, though some of the medical numbers weren't ideal. It's tricky because Boots feels he'll perform much better at 154. Originally, he wanted to stay at 147 to unify, and now he's achieved that. It's a tough call. We like the Teofimo Lopez fight, but if he stays at 147, that's who he'll face. If not, he'll move up to 154. With Brian Castano fighting in July here in Japan and Bivol facing Pacquiao, the unifications aren't really lined up, so Boots is somewhat a one-off, Hearn explained. I'd say he's not purely money-driven, of course he is, but he's focused on legacy and willing to push his body to make 147 for unification. The Teofimo fight is a bit different, but still a big matchup, so we'll need to make a decision soon.
That's about it?
Yeah, he's a good fighter. That's about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were going to add or anything like that.
No. I say he's a good fighter. That's about it.
Okay. Brian Norman Jr. got a knockout win. I know you guys tried to make a fight previously. He had mentioned in a group huddle with us that he just didn't like being cornered in his opinion, when it came to that fight.
Ennis hired a nutritionist to help manage his weight more efficiently for the fight against Stanionis. On fight night, he looked significantly bigger than Stanionis and controlled the bout. Still, Hearn noted that making the 147-pound limit remained a challenge. It probably wasn't as extreme as the Charlo fight, but a lot of people noticed during the week how tight he looked at the weight, he said. He wasn't completely drained on the scales for Stanionis, not at all, but repeatedly cutting down to 147 is a huge demand on his body.
Fight, Jaron, just give us your perspective on that and him saying those comments.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even know what you're talking about. I've been so locked in and zoned in on what I got going on. I ain't been worrying about nobody else doing nothing. Like, I just been going to the gym, training, locking in books and things like that, even coloring a little bit. I'm just so focused on what I got going on. I really ain't been on social media. I post.
And it's not just about making the weight. It's about making it and performing at your best. Even in the Stanionis fight, he didn't feel like he showed his most powerful self, which is surprising because it looked incredible to everyone else. At 154, you'll see even more power, though he already has plenty at 147. That's all for now. For the latest updates on boxing news, highlights, events, and action, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you catch every quality update like this. Until next time, peace out.